I did it again. I did it again. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So, to kind of preface, you may have just seen the stream title abruptly change out of nowhere. There's a reason for that. I was chatting to my mum until about 10 minutes ago, and then I came off of the phone and was getting my headset ready, and getting my microphone ready, and getting my drink ready, and getting everything set and ready, except the stream details. so it comes up like, right, let's review some Pokemon. Hang on. Morrowind. What? Let's say Morrowind. No. Anyway, as you can tell, we're carrying on with our Pokemon review. The aim today is that we review generations 7 through 8, plus regional forms, plus Mega Evolutions, plus Gigantamax. So the thing is, generations 7 through 8 have quite a lot of crossover into Legends Arceus and Scarlet Violet. So I've probably seen quite a lot of these already, and I can tell looking at the list in front of me, like, you can only see the top row, but I can already see a whole bunch of these that, like, I'm familiar with. So yeah, we had to kind of flesh it out a little bit. I think it's worth noting that when I'm reviewing regional forms, it's only going to cover ones, again, that I'm not familiar with. So anything that I've not seen before, anything that has been in a game that I've played, is automatically disqualified from the list. So I think the easiest thing for us to do is immediately start off by getting shot of Rowlet, Decidueye, and Dartrix, that is, and that's Decidueye. I get the names confused because to me, that's Hansowl. That's not Decidueye, that's Hansowl. And that would be a McCree joke, except they then changed the name of McCree to Cassidy. So, I mean, if you guys can think of a decent owl pun to put with the name, by all means, feel free to do so. So again, we're going to just kind of work our way through the list of Pokemon. I have Cerebi.net providing me with the images, so Middle Monitor has the images of the Pokemon. That's what I'm reacting to. We're not ranking them on power or usability or whatever the meta is. We're just looking at these things that I've not seen before, and the thing that we're asking is, does this look cool? You know, does this look cool? Do I like the look of this? And there's not really any other criteria for what we're looking at. It's just we're ranking these based on a gut reaction. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. So first one we've got is Litten, a little fire kitty, obviously one of the starters from generation number 7. And I gotta say, I like this. Like, I'm biased towards cats, generally, because I love cats. But I quite like the fact that you've got the... yellow eyes, obviously. I like yellow eyes. I don't know if you can tell that. I like the coloration scheme. Black and red is always a good color combination to go with, but the patterning as well is pretty good. So, I mean, we're off to a good start. The first one I'm looking at here goes straight into pretty good. And I got to say, that's better than most... that's better than most of them get. It's better than most of them get. We move on to Torracat. I mean, okay. It's a bit of a weird name, I guess. I mean, is that supposed to be Torrid? I don't know exactly where the name comes from. I mean, it's starting to turn into a bit of furry bait, I think. Kind of. I mean, that's always the problem with any sort of cat starter in Pokemon will almost invariably become furry bait, and that's just kind of, I think, unavoidable. So I don't really dig this. I think it's a downgrade, if I'm completely honest. I think this is a downgrade. So this is, unfortunately for me, kind of mid. It's not a design I'm really particularly keen on. We then have Incineroar, who I think Incineroar was in Smash Bros, weren't they? I mean, I'm looking at this, and I gotta say, you expect furry bait, and then you get what looks like a professional wrestler. Let's have a look at this Let's have a look at the Pokédex entry, if Cerebi actually has it. I don't know if Cerebi actually has the Pokédex entry here. It's the classification is a heel Pokemon, which tells me it's a heel wrestler. So automatically, it's a wrestler. That bumps it up in my estimation. I mean, I get almost like Zangief vibes off of this guy. And you know what? If I got that as my end result starter, I'd be pretty happy. Fire and Dark's kind of a cool combination as well. Like the OG Dark-type Pokemon was Fire Dark. So that would be Houndour and Houndoom. People can say Murkrow's the OG, or that Tyranitar's the OG, or Sneasel's the OG. But for me, Houndour and Houndoom are the quintessential Dark-type Pokemon. I think they were the first ones to ever actually kind of get released as well, at least that I can remember. It's been a very long time since Generation 2, but I really like Incineroar in terms of a design. You know, I would be very happy with that. And I think we're gonna chuck him straight up there. I mean, that's a strong showing. That's a really strong showing. Something else I'm going to be doing as well is between generations, I am going to take screenshots of these just so we can kind of compile them for everyone, and that way we've at least got a record of you know, what my reactions have been, and you can then judge me all you like. I mean, as long as you don't start throwing out stuff like, "Oh my god, Shins is a furry, oh, what a wanker." I mean, yes, I am a wanker, but furry? No, 'tis not I. Okay. Now I've got a bit of a problem here. For some reason, it's doing that weird thing where I click on something on one side of my screen and it brings it up elsewhere. So, well, let's just scroll on. So the next one is Poplio. It's obviously the water starter. And I mean, oh dear. I mean, would it be wrong of me to make a Clussy joke here? I feel like it would be. I don't like this very much. I mean, I see what they're going for. It's like you've got a cute owl that becomes a mysterious owl. You've got a sort of irritated-looking cat that becomes a big angry wrestler, and then you've got this guy here who looks like he has all the thought process of Fuecoco, and I don't like this guy's design. You know, the fact that he's got a very obvious clown hat for a nose. It's not awful, but it is kind of bad. You know, I don't have anything kind to say about this Pokemon. I also don't have anything too unkind to say. We'll move on to the next evolution, which is... The fuck is that? Oh my goodness me. Brionne. Which I think is supposed to be a ballet dancer. I mean, I'll be honest, I think this looks terrible. Classification, pop star Pokemon. I mean, in the loosest sense, like, I would rather, if this was going to be a pop star, I would rather it have an absolute slapdash of colours and themes, and maybe some really trippy music videos. Just make it into Kiri Pami Pamu. You know, Iono was closer to what I would say a pop star should be looking like than this thing, and no, that's awful. That's nothing good about that at all. We move on to Primarina, water and fairy type, and again, I see what they're going for here, but I don't like it. Like, they've tried to make it into furry bait, and there's probably some people who would dig this. Like, some people who are particularly into, say, mermaids, they'd probably get something out of this. But for me, the fact that the hair is humanized in that sense, and the posture, and just, nothing is good about this. Nothing looks good about this Pokemon, and I have no compunction putting it into awful, because I'm sorry, but to me, it was just terrible. So we will move on quite swiftly, I will add. Next one is Picky Peck, who I suppose would be the starting flying type, the equivalent to Pidgey. It was called Pidgey equivalent, so I get Pidgey adjacent. That's the one. I think that's the term we should use. So the Pidgey adjacent of Gen 7. And I mean, It's all right. It's a bird. You know, there's not anything beyond the coloration that's too striking about this guy. You know, he's just kind of, he's a bird Pokemon. He looks like something you'd find on the first route out your starter town. I mean, there's nothing offensive about it. It's not good. It's not bad. It is just a bird from the early part of the game. I don't see any. I don't see anything in the names that are particularly jumping out at me either. So we move onwards to Trumbeak. Now, this guy looks kind of angry, and I mean the facial expression is angry, but then the way that the wing is held out is, I mean, a little bit weird, to be honest. You know, it looks like that should be a Murkrow, you know, saying something to a fellow mafioso. Hey, Johnny, forget about it. I shouldn't do that voice. It actually kind of hurts. Because I was doing Dunmer impressions from Morrowind the other night. My throat's still a bit gammy, so I got to be a little bit careful in that respect. But yeah, I mean, I don't like this one. I feel like this is kind of bad. It's the posture. You know, the rest of the design is inoffensive, but the posture is just kind of dumb. And I don't dig it. So we move on. We then come to a Toucanon. And that is one hell of a scowl. Oh my god. So this guy is really scowling here. He looks very pissed off. The fact that the French name is Bazookan. Oh my god, that's a missed opportunity. I mean, I can see, you know, a toucan. Oh, yeah, it's a toucan. Toucanon, pretty cool. Bazookan, that's a fucking great name. Ah, that would be an excellent. That's a missed opportunity to have that name as the English one. I'll be honest, but I mean, I still don't think this is particularly great. It just looks like your basic end evolution bird. It gets some points for being a more exotic type of bird, but the frown elevates it just a little bit into being kind of mid rather than being kind of bad. I mean, it doesn't reach pretty good, but the fact he looks so genuinely upset kind of does something for me. I don't know exactly what it's doing for me, but you know, that's all I can really say there, to be fair. So we move onwards. Young Goose and Gumshoes have been in Scarlet, so we move them away. We go to Grubbin, and I mean, for a bug type, this looks pretty cool. I like the fact that hey, welcome, thank you for the 100 bits as well. We've got Grubbin here, the two little prongs, the helmet-looking thing. I mean, for a starter bug, it's not bad. It's not great, but I've seen far worse starting bug types, that's for sure. See, he's got the frown, but beyond the frown, he doesn't have anything that really does it for me, I'm afraid. You know, he's reasonable. He's reasonable. He just isn't quite there. If I'm being honest, he's more like here. He's kind of straddling the boundary, but I can't straddle the boundary. He has to fall into one category or another. So, you know, I didn't dislike it, put it that way. But it just wasn't quite as good as Litten. Litten is a cute kisser. And obviously we've got Incineroar up here. And I will be honest, I like that design just for the fact that big wrestling cat. Yes, that does it for me. Wrestle me, cat daddy. Going back to Grubbin, though, I mean, I feel like this is still kind of mid. It has the potential to get good. Like, I think this evolutionary line looks like it should get good. But we'll carry on. You know, there's not too much that kind of does it. There's not too much that does it there for me. So we move on to the evolution, which is Charger Bug. Loses points for having one of the stupidest names that I've heard. However, looks vaguely like he's related to Optimus Prime, which again is kind of cool. I mean, I think it's obviously a battery. It's obviously a battery pack or a charger or something. And I mean, credit to them for being inventive with technology, I guess. I still don't think this is good yet. I still think this is kind of mid, but it's not bad. Again, this is more like straddling the line between being bad and being... Well, not being bad, being mid and being good. I think the next one, though, looks interesting to me. So the next one is Vikavolt, or Vikavolt. I don't know how you're pronouncing that exactly. But I gotta say, this thing looks really fucking cool. Like this looks like this looks like a coil gun or a rail gun or however you're gonna say it. You know, you remember that gun at the end of Reach? Reminds me of that with the with this bit here, and I really quite like this. Like, Bug Electric is an interesting type combination. I think on just reaction to how this looks alone, this actually goes up here. Just because it has so many elements that I like. It's got the angular edges. It looks kind of like a railgun. Looks like it's probably going to be kind of fast as well. I mean, for some reason, Cerebi does not give me the data for stats and whatnot, but that's maybe not an awful thing, I guess. Okay, so we'll move on kind of quickly. Hey, welcome. Yeah, it's certainly one of the coolest designs I've seen so far. I mean, I guess this guy's fast. Let's find out. Yes. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be fast. It looks like it could be fast, but also... Oh, really? It's very slow, is it? Okay, so it's more like... But yeah, I mean, Railgun Bug. That's a great name for it. That's genuinely a great name. Okay. Crabrawler, seen it. Crabominable I have seen before, but I will criticize for the name alone, because Crabominable is the stupidest name I've heard given to a Pokemon in a very long time, I'm afraid to say. Oricorio, again, has been in Generation 9, so I have seen it before. 43 base speed, good grief. See, this is like the first time I ever heard about Pokemon. It's like, oh, there's a Pokemon called Parasect. I'm like, it's an insect, therefore it's going to be really fast. He's like, no, it's a mushroom. It's literally a walking mushroom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is pretty great. That's like steel type speed. Jeez. I don't recall Cutiefly being in a generation that I've played. If it is, then I've not seen it. So, I mean, it's inoffensive. It's kind of a bug with some little feet, some eyes, some wings. You know, it's not awful. It's just kind of, okay. We move on to the next one, which is Ribombee. Okay, and I mean, any fans of Juniper Actius are probably going to be quite happy with this Pokemon. I mean, yeah, it's okay, I guess. Bug Fairy type. It's following that trend that the early Fairy types had, where they seem to try and humanize them to the point that certain brands of furries will be very happy. I mean, for me, this doesn't really tickle anything. You know, it's alright. We're just going to stick it there. You know, it's kind of mid. It doesn't jump out as being particularly interesting to me. Now, the next one that I can see, I'm going to need to have a quick check. Oh, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong decks there. Hold on. Let's have a look at what's next. Aha. Okay, I see. I'm not sure what the difference between the two forms is. I mean, obviously, like you said, I've seen Rockruff, I've seen Lycanroc. What's the difference between the two forms? Because I don't think I've seen the orange one. I've seen the red one just wandering around. It looks all right, but nothing particularly jumps out at me about Lycanroc, if I'm honest. I mean, let's have a look at the Cerebi entry. So, it's like a day form and a night form. I mean, the night form, I suppose, looks like a werewolf, and, you know, that's kind of cool, I guess, but, you know, the other one just looks like a orange dog. You know, it's orange dog. That's all I can really see there. Next one on the list is Wishy Washy. What an amazing name. Wishy Washy. And I can see this has got two different forms. So one is a school of them forming into one particular fish. The stats are at the bottom. They're not for the national decks. They're not. There's no stats on this one. I'm on the page right now, and there's no stats at all for it, which kind of sucks. Maybe it's because I'm looking at the national decks format, but yeah, there's definitely no stats here, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I like the idea of kind of a weak little fish that. I mean, what does it say here? So Wishy-Washy changes form when it is level 20 or over and has 25% or more of its hit points remaining. When its hit points drop below 25, it changes to solo form. Should it be healed back over 25, it will change form again. So the base form is kind of bad. Yeah, I think that looks. It's just a very unhappy fish. I like the idea of a Pokemon that kind of beefs up whilst it's healthy. You know that it. I don't feel like it would be a good idea in practice, and I don't imagine without playing Gen 9, I don't know if it would be any good. But it's certainly an interesting idea, and I quite like the look of this one. So it's not pretty good still. It's still a little bit mid, but it's more like here. You know, it's more like there. But I can't say that I dislike it, that's for sure. Okay, so the next few Pokemon I've seen before. So we have Mareanie, seen it. We've seen Toxapex. Andy's favourite Pokemon, Dat Boy Mudbray, Dat Boy Mudsdale. I mean, I'll be honest, I like the design of Mareanie and Toxapex, but like I said, I'm not reviewing anything that I've seen before, so I've got to kind of stick to that. So, we move on. The next Pokemon is Jupiter, or if you're from Rhode Island, Jupiter. Excuse me. And I mean, it's a perpetually pogging spider with a bubble on its head. So I don't like this. I think this one's kind of bad. You know, I like the color scheme, but I don't like the facial expression or the fact it looks like it's holding its head in shock. It's like, oh no, what's going on? Like I said, my voice. Oh, excuse me. My voice is absolutely bollocks tonight. There we go. Okay. We move on. And we go to Araquanid. And I mean, I gotta say, in terms of improvement, this is a big one. So you've gone from one which is actually kind of shit, not really very good at all, to one that looks like it will fuck up your day. Like, this Pokemon looks like if you mess it in a dark alley, you know, you'd not come out the alley again. You would be bollocksed. And the fact that the bubble looks more like a helmet as well, I like this. I like the color scheme. I just like the general appearance of this one. So I think this one's actually pretty good. You know, I think that one's pretty good. I have no issue putting it there at all. So, what's next on our list? We've seen Fermantis and Lurantis. They were in Gen 9. Next is Morlul or Moralol, Grass Fairy type. And, I mean, I'll be honest, this looks like it should be a Super Mario enemy. You know, it's not... This is pretty lame, to be honest. I don't dig this one. I don't really dig this one at all. I mean, I guess it's cute, but, you know, cute doesn't really do it for me. Let's have a look at the second one then, which is Sheenotic, and oh dear. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's a System of a Down reference, surely. It's, you know, like the kombucha mushroom people sitting around all day. Would but leave you. Would but leave you. Let your mother pray. AA. And we're not going to sing any more of that because otherwise we're going to get hit by the demonetization beam anyway. But that's terrible. It's one of the worst Pokemon I've actually seen before. Like, it's actually terrible. We'll move on as swiftly as we can. So, Bear with me a second. I need to skip through. So, Salandit was in Gen 9. The Suspicion... Now, Salazzle does deserve a bit of a special mention, because if we were reviewing, Salazzle would go into Suspiciously Sexy purely because who the fuck decided to put a lizard into a position where it's seductively rubbing its hips and like, oh yes, fertilize my eggs, Mr. Trainer Man. And the trainer's like, dude, I'm a fucking 10-year-old. And Salazzle's like, I don't care. That's the sort of vibe I get from it. It's really fucking predatory. But someone designed that to look sexy. Like, someone likes scale. Someone likes spaffing onto eggs rather than... Someone has a cloaca fetish. Let's put it that way and leave it there. Let's move on as quickly as we can. Stuffle. I mean, this looks bad again. Weird typing as well, normal and fighting. It's the fact it looks like a very happy, smiley Pokemon, which just happens to look like a teddy bear that's moving around. It doesn't have the appeal of something like Mamamon from Digimon, for example, or Teddymon as we used to call them at school. You know, it's just kind of I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But it's certainly... I just realised I'm going to have a bit of a... Hang on, get rid of that ad. There we go. Okay. So, that's going to go into kind of bad. We move on. The next Pokemon is... oh, boy. Beware. And, again, I mean, this is certainly interesting, but it just looks like a Pokemon that wants to give you a cuddle. I mean, I know that's not the thing behind it. I know there's a whole sort of thing in the lore of, oh my god, it's so scary and whatnot. But it's just lazy. You know, it's a lazy design. There's no interesting features about this thing. We move on again. I just need to pull up the next section that we're actually going to have a look through, which is that one. Okay. I think. Yes, okay. So, Bounsweet, Seenie and Sarini, we've seen them. We've seen them before. They're in Gen 9. After that is Comfy. Okay, there's a Pokemon literally called Comfy. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's cute, and I kind of see what they're going for with the motif of it being a garland, but again, it's just... It's a garland. You know, it's just fairy type as well. Surely that should be grass type as well. I mean, it's not awful, but there's nothing that's not really good design as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry, but it's just, no. I'm sorry, but you'll have nothing from me, sir. After that, we have now Oranguru is terrible. Oranguru is in Gen 9, and it actually manages to survive this little cull through virtue of the fact that it's in Gen 9. Otherwise, it'll be straight into the awful category. It just looks stupid. It's generally terrible. It's just, no. Thankfully, I've seen it before, so we don't need to worry about it. Persimmon, we've seen before. Wimpod, Bugwater. I mean, it gains some points actually from looking like a horseshoe crab and a trilobite. It's not great. Excuse me, it's not good. But I think it deserves to at least go into the middle tier. You know, it's not terrible. It's not terrible by any sense. It's just kind of... It needs something more, and when it evolves, it gets that. So I'm looking at Golisopod now, and this looks like power armor. This looks like, hey, we're the Japanese. Let's make Transformers, but let's make Transformers anime. And I dig that. Like, this thing looks like it's popped out of a Bakugan. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like a Bakugan. Ah, your boy Guzma. Yes, I've heard of your boy Guzma. Yabai Guzma. Oh no, Guzma Rule 34. Don't Google that. Don't Google that. But yeah, I like that. I don't think it's quite as good as these two, but it still deserves to go high up on the tier. I mean, honestly, it's probably straddling the line again. It's more like that, but it's just not quite there for me. I think if the color scheme was a bit less drab, a bit less grey, it probably would rank a little bit higher. But yeah, so far yeah, the bugs are sweeping Gen 7 apparently. Right, okay. So next, Sandygast and Palisand in Gen 9. We can dodge around those. Now, I can't remember if Pukumuku was in Legends Arceus or not. I mean, it just kind of looks like a... I can't say what that looks like, actually. I can't say what that looks like. Anything is one if you're brave enough, though. Oh, no. I mean, for that reason, I have to put it into kind of bad, because Pokemon is ostensibly a children's game, and to put what is very obviously an honor hole into a children's game, especially... Sea Cucumber. And what happens to a sea cucumber when you squeeze it? Anyway, we move on. Next, we have... interesting. Type Null. Which has... I mean, okay. What's going on here? This looks like an experiment gone horribly wrong. To me. I mean, I can't really infer context, but it's got an axe blade for a head in the shape of a hawk, some eyes... it looks like loads of stuff has just been kind of cobbled together, and I don't really dig this. I think that's kind of bad, to be honest. Like, it's not terrible, but yeah, I mean, it looks like an experiment gone wrong, but it looks like the sort that you don't suffer to live. It looks like one of those things where you mercy kill it out behind the shed with a shotgun. The next one on the list, Silvally. Okay, I mean, this looks a little bit more sensible. I still don't really like it, just for the fact that it's not cohesive. Like, the top half in the head is cohesive, but the rest of it just kind of looks like a mess of Eevee parts. You know, and the fact that the tail is almost a Vaporeon tail, I mean, in terms of human Pokemon compatibility, but that's not the compatibility for me, sir. I'm sorry. Good day. Moving on. Minior, okay, or Minwa? I don't know. Interesting. Changes forms after its hit points are reduced below 50% with the ability Shields Down. So it's obviously some sort of alien, is it? Okay. I mean, it looks kind of like an enemy from Metroid, but at the same time, it's... I don't know. I mean, there's not very much going on here. It's just a circle with what looks like some eyes and some spikes. I feel like it's kind of lazy. You know, it's not terrible, but it's certainly not good. We don't need to worry about Kamala, because Kamala is in Gen 9. I don't think Kamala's a very good Pokemon anyway. It's really boring. There's nothing that excites me about it. So, the next one is called Turtonator. Okay. I mean, on one hand, it looks like it's perpetually pogging. Fire and Dragon is an interesting type combination, I guess. I mean, the fact that it is a big angry turtle, yeah, I kind of dig it, but at the same time, there's not enough going on there to... Like, there's a lot going on, but there's not enough going on that really sucks me in. You know, I don't particularly dig it, if we're honest. So, we're going to move on to... Hang on, I'm just having a look down here. What's next? I think it's going to be... Because that little hedgehog dude, I'm pretty sure was in... I'm pretty sure they're in... Gen 9, but let's just have a check. Togedemaru, I think was in Gen 9, maybe? I mean, I don't remember. I think it's pretty bad. I think all of the electric rodents are lazily designed just to capitalize on Pikachu hype. I don't like any of them, if I'm honest. I think they're all just lazy and, frankly, a bit shit. Mimikyu, we've seen before. Bruxish, we've seen before. So the next on our list is Drampa, okay? And, I mean, this just looks like a hippie. This looks like a fucking hippie. I don't see anything that I kind of enjoy looking at with this thing. It just looks just kind of dull. Yeah, it looks like Falcor from Neverending Story. I tell you what, I remember I actually saw the cartoon of the Neverending Story before I ever saw the actual film of it. So the cartoon with Bark Troll as one of the main characters. It's the main thing I remember about the Neverending Story cartoon is Bark Troll. But I mean, I don't like this. It looks like a stoned hippie. I am gonna have to just scroll down a little bit just so I can get to the next line of PKMNS. So I mean, I think this is pretty bad, to be honest. Now, I'm going to have to... bear with me a second. I'm going to have to... Oh, no, that's chat. Don't do that to chat. Bear with me a sec. I'm just going to... Oh, I can't edit it? Oh, okay. Looks like I've got to edit it more like this, apparently. Alright. Well, just bear with me. I need to basically make it so that I can scroll it down a bit. So, how do I do this? What's the best way to do this? We scroll it down to about there. Yeah, and then I think if we move that there, that can kind of come up there. Yeah, there we go. That's it. That's it. Right, okay. There we go. You've been... Yeah, we've resized successfully. Okay, good, good, good. So we've got a little bit more space to see exactly what's going on now, which obviously is a good thing. Next on the list is Delmise Anchor. Now, this is pretty cool, actually. Ghost and Grass is not the type combination I would have put an Anchor as. But I think this looks pretty cool. Like, anything with a nautical theme is going to kind of suck me in a little bit, at least. I like the fact it's just a haunted anchor with a ship's wheel attached to it. I think that's pretty cool. So, that's going to go in pretty good. You know, I think that's its ability buffs Steel Moves, does it? Okay. Does it have... The thing I'm looking at... The entry I've got on Cerebi here doesn't tell me any of this stuff. It doesn't give me anything about stats or... anything particularly great in that respect, so I'm going to have to just move on, unfortunately. But the next on the list is Jangmo O. Okay. Oh, I see. So it's supposed to be like in the sense of Susanoo. So obviously this is going to be a pseudo-legendary looking at it. I mean, yeah, kind of. The fact it's got that weird little heart-shaped crest, I don't really dig that, but... You know, it's not terrible. It's, you know, kind of mid, I guess. Doesn't excite me very much. Yeah. We move on to Hakamo'o, and we now have dragon fighting. So I guess that Gen 9 wasn't the first time we saw dragon fighting as a type here. So, I mean, it's not bad. For some reason, it makes me think of the gold from Stargate, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it's still kind of mid, though. It's not there's nothing great, really, here for me. I think I might have to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay, I can see things a little bit better now. Good, good. Can I do it once more? Oh, no. There we go. Okay, good, good, good. I can see what I'm doing again now. So next you have Komo-O. And, I mean... Yeah, I see what they're going for with it. I see what they're going for, and I think they're close to what they're going for, but they're just not quite there. So, I mean, it's just going to be kind of mid with the rest of them, which is kind of disappointing for a pseudo, but that's just how it goes, I suppose. We move on to Tapu Koko. Okay. So, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. The fact it looks like a sword with a shield. And the shield is kind of split into two, and that forms the arms. I think, like, there's... I mean, it's okay in terms of how it looks. It's... Tiki's, of course. That's... Yeah. I see it now. I can see it. I mean, I kind of like this. It's still... not great. But I still think it's pretty good. I still think that was pretty good, actually. We move on to the next Tiki, then. Tapu Lele, and... is that a Tengarag? Is that a fucking Tengarag? Game Freak. Pokemon is a game that children play. Right? It's a game that children play. Don't put a Tengarag as one of your fucking Pokemon, for God's sake. Oh, no. Moving on now. Okay. Tapu Bulu. Okay. I mean, I'm not Yabai. No. I am a clean-minded boy. You can prove no way otherwise. There is no way that you can prove otherwise. No. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Tauros from Fairy Tail. You know, I could see Tapu Bulu saying to its trainer, "Moo, nice body, moo," and just kind of going on like that. I don't know what the English voice of Tauros sounds like, but yeah. Bugs are actually dominating the meta at the minute for me. I mean, this is okay. It's not good enough to go into kind of good. It's also not bad. So we're going to kind of drop that there. The fact it's got a septum ring kind of elevates it as well, but that's just because I've got one. Anyway, without being cheeky, I mean, Tapu Fini. Oh, and it's more furry bait. Okay. Now, this is what I mean when I say that fairy types at a certain point in Pokemon just look like they were designed to appeal to the male fantasy. You know, this is kind of what I mean. I mean, this looks like it opens up and there's you've got a sexy fairy inside there, ready for, you know, the whoa, sags and all that. No. I mean, I like the purple, though. Purple and black is a winning colour combination, so despite my reservations about the fact it's obviously fucking furry bait, I kind of like this. I think that's pretty good. The fact it's got spikes as well. Primarina is terrible-looking furry bait. I'm sorry, but there's no kind of way I can say it. You know, it just looks fucking awful. And it can have carried you. I don't dispute that it may be useful in the game sense, but for me, this is all about how do they look. You know, I don't like the look of this. Whereas this is purple, black, some flashes of white and blue in there, a bit spiky. All of those things are aesthetically pleasing to me. So, you know, I feel like I've made the right call here. What's next? Next we have Cosmog. Okay. I see. So this is the pre-evolution of the box legendaries, is it? I see. Okay. Nebula Pokemon. Okay. I mean, from an appearance standpoint, I don't really dig it. I like the concept of it, but the appearance doesn't really sell me. So I feel like this goes into kind of mid. Looking at what comes next, though, so Cosmoem or Cosmovum. I mean, obviously ovum is an egg. It's a cosmic egg. Now, I actually really like this as a concept. The fact that you've had a nebula which is gestating into something, and it's like something out of a Stellaris storyline. This, I think that is, it's high. This one is definitely high, but I'm not. It's at the point where it's straddling a line, and where it straddles a line, you always have to, in these sorts of reviews, you round down when it straddles the line. It's almost there. It's almost there. It's just not quite on the level of those two for me. And then after that, it evolves into, depending on your version by the look of it. Okay. Is this still Gen? Are we still in the right gen? Are we sure? Okay. Solgaleo. I mean, yeah. Psychic Steel. You know, it looks like something out of Super Sentai, but it just looks like one of the ridiculous villains who, you know, you just kind of see for an episode or two, and that's that. And I don't really dig this one. I think that's mid. I'll be honest, I think that's very mid. The next one, Lunala, looks much better. So, Psychic Ghost, interesting type combination to start with. It looks bladed. It looks jagged. It looks dangerous. It looks like something which will fucking cut you. It looks like it will cut you. It will cut you and then laugh about it. And Moonbat, yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. So it's not at the point where it's in the best, but it is at least pretty good. I don't feel like that's an unfair assessment from me. You know, it's got the coloration, and it's got some of the features, but in terms of the shape, it just doesn't. The shape is just kind of a bit too. Yeah, I don't dig the shape, but beyond that, well, we're getting there. Okay, so after this looks like the Ultra Beast, so Nihilego. I mean, actually, that looks tasty. I mean, jellyfish are what I eat. You know, as a blue glaucus, that's my primary food source. But beyond the fact I'm hungry now, there's not really very much that does it for me there. Rock poison is a weird typing. But it looks like a jellyfish. It doesn't look like a rock. It looks like a jellyfish. But it also looks like it looks like that's a hat, and there should be someone under that, but there's no one there. And, I mean, beyond the fact it looks kind of tasty, it's kind of mid. So next, I think Andy's mentioned who's next, but it's your boy Buzzwole. Okay. He's a JoJo protagonist. He is a JoJo protagonist. Look at those pecs. Fucking hell. I mean, I like this. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. It's kind of fucking stupid. But at the same time, like, from an aesthetic standpoint, I like this a lot. I think it's stupid. But I think that's at least got to go into pretty good. It's borderline again, but we have to round down. So, I like this a lot. And I want to rate it higher. I think if the colour scheme wasn't quite so red, I'd probably like it more. I mean, I say that with Incineroar, though. Incineroar's got a lot of black in there, and Buzzwole is more red than black. So, you know, it's a case of so close yet so far. We move on to Pheromosa. And again, we've got furry bait, but for Juniper fans. You know, this is the Mothussy. This is what we're looking at here. And I mean, I can see what they're going for. Again, I don't really like it. It looks too much like a cockroach with the long antenna and the sort of rounded body. And I'm sorry, but I think that's kind of bad. We'll move on as swiftly as we can. We go on then to Xurkitree. And this thing just looks fucking dumb. Just pure electric type. It just looks like someone's chewed on an electric power cable. I mean, the fact that its name is just an obvious pun on circuitry as well, it loses points for that, so get straight into awful. Never darken my doorstep again, sir. We move on. The next one is Celesteela, but Celesteela, I suppose. You know, you have to mispronounce steel to kind of get it. This looks like a prophet from Halo piloting a bamboo Reggie. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It is a prophet from Halo piloting a bamboo Reggie. You cannot convince me otherwise. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, they're obviously going for like a rocket, but they've just made it look like some sort of weird power armor. Even so, it's not awful. It goes into kind of mid. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. After that, Kartana. The best level in all of Halo 3. The best level in all of Halo 3. Now, if we were reviewing the Halo 3 level, it would go straight into awful, because fuck that level. Fuck that fucking level. I hate it. I mean, it's okay. You know, it's not. There's nothing exciting about this to me. It's supposed to be obviously an origami katana samurai, but it's just kind of, well, okay. I don't really dig this at all. I think it's kind of bad, to be fair. Disappointing. Normally I like stuff to do with swords. Guzzlord. Okay. Another of those Pokemon that you look at and just think, why? You know, this is like a muck gone wrong. So, I mean, it looks way too Halloween-y for me. I don't like this one bit. It just looks fucking terrible. You know, Dark Dragon, okay. But the fact that it just looks like... Yeah, like it looks like a Halloween-y muck. And I don't like Halloween at all. We move on. Okay, so this next one is your boy Necrozma. The antagonist, I believe, of this generation. I hope I got that right. So, it does have some different forms. So, we'll look at these individually. So, the base Necrozma, I think, looks kind of bad, to be honest. I mean, it looks like a young child's edgy fan fiction of Galissapod. Like, it's Shadow the Galissapod. That's what this thing is. It's Galissapod, but it's Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, you see these great big hands that he's got there. He's gonna pump a gun with those. That's what this kid is, and I don't really dig this. It's kind of bad, if I'm honest. It's not. Yeah, there's not anything that really captures me here. So again, we move on. So the mains, so Necrozma has multiple different forms. Two of its forms require the use of special Solarizer or Lunarizer items, as well as Solgaleo and Lunala, while its Ultra form can only become it by using those forms and having the... I almost misread that as Ultra Necronomicon, but okay, so I guess that the next form comes in... the next form we're going to have to kind of move along to a different tier, because if it's a... is Ultra Form in the base game, is that considered a Mega Evolution or a Gigantamax, or is that just an actual straight evolution for it? I don't understand how this form works, so... either way, the Dusk main form... A fused... Oh, I see, okay, so we'll review that in this... We'll review that here then, I guess. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I see. So, I mean... Let's have a look at the other forms. Okay. Oh boy. I'm going to get judged hard. Okay. So, Duskmane. I kind of dig it. It's like a... Yeah, it looks kind of like a Transformer gone wrong. I still don't think it's particularly great, so that's kind of mid. However, the Dawnwings form of Necrozma, I'm sorry, but that's suspiciously sexy, and I'll tell you why. It looks like Lady Devimon, and she is a leather-clad dominatrix. And I will say no more. Looking at the next form, though, the Ultra form. The Ultra form's really fucking lame. Like, that's just... You know, it's... I don't know how they thought those two things being kind of cool going into that was any good, but, you know, I'm sorry, but get in the bin. Goodbye. Okay, we move onwards. Oh, yeah, Lady Devon is just... yes, money. Magina, eh? Okay. So, Steel and Fairy. Okay. I kind of dig the type. I mean, the two different appearances, one standard, one with the original colour from centuries ago. There's no way to change between them. Okay. So, okay. The base colour is kind of bad, right? However, the original colour is pretty good. So it has to fall into kind of mid by default because otherwise it would be in two different categories. And we right. Message your brother-in-law and ask him if he would simp Lady Devimon. Message your future brother-in-law and say, Joel, would you simp Lady Devimon? Oh no. You don't simp Digimon based on who's useful or who's good or whoever. You simp based on which one would dominate you in bed. That's the rules. I don't make up the rules, man. I don't make up the rules. But that's how it goes. Anyway, we move onwards. Marshadow. Okay, I guess this is like a mythical Pokemon or something looking at it. I mean, it's still got that issue where it has mythical syndrome where it's just a very lazy body with a bulbous chibi head with eyes, but it also is a will-o'-the-wisp, and actually it kind of pulls it back for that fact alone. The way they've done a will-o'-the-wisp type Pokemon really kind of works there. It looks spoopy, it looks thematically accurate to what it's trying to be, so I think for that, I mean, it's not good, but it's getting there. It's a much better mythical design than I've seen for a long time. We move on again to Poipole. Okay. I mean, apparently this is a poison type. It looks like it should be part fairy. So we'll kind of move on because I mean this is pretty bad, to be honest. The one after that, Naganadel. I mean, does this Pokemon thrust towards you with its dick? Because that's what this looks like to me. Does it show me the shiny? It does not show me the shiny on this page, I'm afraid. But, I mean, this just looks like a dick thrust. This just looks like a dick thrust, so I don't like that one bit. I'm sorry, but no. We move on. The next one in the list is Stack Attacker. Okay? He's an attacker who's stacker. I mean, the notion of what I presume to be a haunted fortress that just kind of walks around, even though it's not ghost type, it's still kind of a cool idea. I think it's a bit cooler in context with having played the Minecraft Wild update, because it looks like an ancient city that's kind of moving around. So it's not great, but we kind of throw it in there, I'm afraid. We move on. My design sensibilities are beyond the ken of mere mortals, I'm afraid, dear bread. Blacephalon, and I mean, I'm just going to level with you. This thing is just straight fucking awful. I don't want to see that ever again. Goodbye. Oh, fucking hell. No. Yes, Zeraora is here. Plain electric type. I mean, I don't know exactly what they're going for here. It looks like... No, he's just electric. Literally just electric. So, it looks to me like an Electabuzz went on a massive, massive diet and then got a job as being furry bait. And I don't really dig it. So, I think you will need to go into kind of bad, if I'm honest. You know, I don't like that. It's just... boring. Excuse me. After that, Meltan. Okay. It looks like an X-Parasite from... from Metroid. I mean, I kind of dig the fact it's molten metal. So... Yeah, I mean, I kind of see where they're going with it. I kind of see where they're going with it. It's alright. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's mid. Yeah, Ditto body with a knot on the top. Evolves into Melmetal, okay? I mean, the fact that this is just a big molten golem, I kind of dig that. The last one on our list looks like it was, a Gigantamax version. So I think Melmetal is still kind of mid. It's not terrible, but it's just kind of not really all that interesting, if I'm honest. So there you go. This is my completed tier list for Generation 7. Oh, yes. We'll get a picture that's stuck up where you all can see it very soon. Don't you worry about that. Bear with me just a second whilst we go to the... Yes, we're going to get it sent. So I'm just going to get that snipped out a second. There we go. Bear with me one moment because I'll get my next list up in just a moment. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's stick that there. Right, okay. And I think I should be able to just very quickly save that. Save that as Gen 7. Blong. Right, okay. Let's pull up the next generation. I thought they were kind of lame. I think that's probably a very harsh thing for me to say outright, but idol outfits always seem to be just very generic and like samey. So yeah, maybe a bit harsh on my part, but I feel like it's fair. Okay, we're going to move on to Galar next. Okay, so Galar is an interesting region because it's based on the UK. Did you know there's that chalk drawing on the side of the hill, and in the UK, if you look up the Cern Abbas giant, you will see a chalk drawing of a giant with a massive erect cock. And I have climbed up that cock, and let me tell you, it's very fucking steep. It's extremely steep. I had to slide down that girthy giant phallus on my ass, and I mean it was a hell of a climb, I've got to say. But no, I was very surprised to see that, and just considering that the actual thing is kind of a bit on the yab side. Oh, yes, thank you very much. Let's hydrate. Delicious. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's crack straight into generation number 8. So a lot of these will have seen, so there's going to be quite a few that we kind of jump through quite quickly. So, in fact, looking at this, I think there's also some megas or some Gigantamax forms. Is this the generation that Gigantamax came in? I don't know. Anyway, Grookey. It's a friendly little monkey. Okay. Well, it's all right. Nothing about this grabs me, if I'm honest. We move kind of swiftly onwards to Thwacky. Okay. I mean, he's got an attitude problem, this kid. He looks really grouchy. I mean, it's still not great, if I'm honest. It's still not great. But, you know, I suppose it could be a lot worse. That's not me. That's not me at all. I do not have a man bun. I do not have a man bun. I think that's kind of bad, though, so that goes in there. Oh! What's this? What's this Pokemon? What's that noise I hear? Bap, bap. Bap, bap. It's Rajunky. He's come to Bonky because he's a giant monkey. I mean, I kind of like this one, actually. Like, the fact that this is just kind of like a Pokemon equivalent to Rajang. I dig that. It's still not great, but it goes into, I think, pretty good. The fact it's described as a drummer Pokemon as well. Yeah, I like that. Gigantamax forms, like I said, we're going to we're going to put them away for now. So, after that, Score Bunny, okay. I mean, it's a small rabbit. It's got a plaster on its head. No, I don't really like it that much, if I'm honest. I feel like, again, this is not a starter that I'd want to particularly pick. So, into kind of bad you go, Score Bunny. I'm sorry. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. Raboot, okay. I'm starting to see a theme with these Pokemon. This looks like kind of a ninja in a hoodie going for a jog. Still kind of lame, if I'm honest. I don't really dig that. We move on. Oh, dear. Okay, and then Cinderace, and... Why is it wearing those ridiculous, puffy 1700s nobleman trousers? I'm sorry, but no. Go away. No. It's not... I don't even care about the football reference. That just looks shit. Okay, we move on. I have seen Sobble before, but in the context that... One Christmas, I got Andy a plushie of Sobble and said, hey, that's our mate. I mean, I still don't think that's inaccurate. I mean, it's definitely better than Score Bunny. It's still not great, so we're going to stick that into kind of mid. You know, it's... None of the starts in this generation are particularly interesting. We're going to dodge on. This one, when the page loads... Come on. Oh, what's happened? My, Apparently Cerebee's died on me. Okay, so... Drizzile. I mean, this is really lame. This looks like one of the goth kids in South Park. Like, just hanging around... trying to be an edgy teen. I dislike this intensely. Goodbye. We move on. As quickly as I can. To, Inteleon. I mean, again, it looks like a Pokemon that's attempting to masquerade itself as a Pokemon professor. And I think this is a really lame design. Like, I dislike that. I don't like it at all. I just don't like it. There's a bunch now which have been in the next generation that I played, so bear with me whilst I just skip ahead a little bit. I think that's the next one. So, Squavert and the Chonky Squirrel. I've seen them before. I've seen these Burbs. So they go into there. Okay. It's supposed to be a spy. It doesn't look like a spy. It just looks like a twat. Jeez. Okay. Blipbug. Why did they make a bug Pokemon look like Poindexter from Felix the Cat? I'm sorry, but no. Terrible. It's just terrible. We move on. Dotzler. Okay. I mean, looks a bit weird, if I'm honest. I kind of like the geometric design we've got going on here, but it's still really low down on my list, if I'm honest. Like, there's just not enough there to kind of interest me. We move on. Evolves into Orbeetle. It's a beetle that's an orb. Do you see? That's funny. That's funny. I'm funny. I mean, yeah, it's alright. It looks better than the evolution. Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of mid. In fact, I just realized I put that into... No, that's kind of mid because it's got the geometries. But this is kind of mid because, again, it's almost there, but it's just lacking something to kind of bring me in. So, on we go next to... This is the most British name that I've ever seen for a Pokemon. And again, this is obviously fucking furry bait, but nick it, okay? Because in English, to nick it is to steal something. That's literally Oh, I'm gonna nick it. It means I'm gonna steal it. So I dislike the fact it's got a page 3 model's facial expression, and for that reason, it goes into awful. It's got the expression of one of those birds that you used to see in the Sun newspaper on page 3 with boobs out. It's like, no, I'm sorry, but I like cat ears, but this is a step too far. Good day. And then I think that's supposed to be Thievel, but you could also say Thivel and send him west. Get it? Like Thivel goes west. Anyway, I mean, again, it's obviously a fox. It's better than the last one. I still don't like it. I still feel that's kind of bad. Generation 8, sorry, is struggling to impress me at this stage. It's not really doing it. We move on to Gossifleur. Okay. This reminds me of how I used to look. Just hair everywhere. And a little face peeking out from amongst an absolute fucking sea of hair. I mean, I don't really dig it. I feel this is just not really... It's kind of straddling the line, but again, like I said, we have to round down in this instance, so we pull this over here. It then evolves into... What's this? I think this one was in... Eldegoss, yeah, was in the Arena Fighter. And, I mean, it's a jelly donut. You can't convince me that this thing is not a jelly donut from the anime. Look at it. It's a jelly donut. I feel like that's kind of bad, to be honest. So we'll move on to Wooloo. Go into Discord and type in Wooloo roll. See what happens. I mean, it's all right. It's literally a sheep. If I was a Welsh VTuber, I'd be well happy right now, but I'm not. So, you know, watermelon. Yeah. No, it's just kind of mid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just boring. It's just boring. And then Dubwool. You know what? I can absolutely see that. I can absolutely see Watermelon being based on Wooloo. So Dubwool is more interesting because of the horns. Like, I mean, I'm a sucker for big goat horns like this. And I still don't... I feel like, again, it's almost into pretty good. It's just not quite there. It's the fact that it's just a big round blob and they've given it a bit of personality. Like, if they'd have turned it into a fucking Banbaro, maybe I'd be a bit more, you know, reasonable about it. But as it stands, it's just kind of... Anyway. Tootle and Dreadnought. Well, we've seen them before. We're not doing the beefy boys just yet. So we want to move on to who's next? Yamper. Okay. I mean, I just wonder what they're when I start complaining about like the designs of Pokemon getting worse. I dislike that entirely. We move on to Boltund, and again, it's just a derpy shocky doggy. There's nothing that I really dig about this. I mean, it's not as bad as the other one, but Roly-Coly through Colossal. Well, I've seen them before. So there's going to be a lot of Pokemon in that category, let's be fair. The Apple Pokemon, yeah, we've seen them before. So these guys are all going to go in here. This is going to be a very busy section by the time we're done, I think. That's also going to go down there. Yeah, I mean, the Cobras, they're going to have to go in there because we've seen them before. Okay. I mean, what else is there we've got to review here? Okay. This one wasn't. Or at least I don't remember seeing this one. Cramorant, and it is literally... What? What in the goddamn? There are certain types of people But no. Good grief. Who at Game Freak thought that was a good idea? I'm moving on as swiftly as I fucking can. Right, okay. I think there's a few that we've seen. Yeah, there's a few we've seen before. So, Arascuda and Barrascuda we've seen. Toxel and Toxtricity, they're in Gen 9. Okay. Sizzlipede, okay. It's it looks like one of those posh old it looks like one of those posh old colonels with that little mustache there with a very angry face. I mean, I think this is all right. It's not great, but it could be. Fruit winders. Okay. I'll give you that one. Okay. Centiscorch. I kind of dig this. I think for a generation which is mostly not that good, actually this looks kind of cool. I like the fiery mustache and eyebrows it's got going on. The fact it has those at the ass end as well for like more flames. So I actually think that's pretty good. Radiator Pokemon. Well, there's no wonder we ain't seen any of these in this country anymore. Thanks, Rishi. Dickhead. Two Faces. Oh, okay. Intriguing. We move on to the next one, which is Clobberpuss. Okay. It's a boxing taco. It's a boxing taco. I don't think that I need to say much more. That's cute. I'm just hearing the music in my head now. And it evolves into Grapploct. And I mean, I'm a sucker for anything that looks like a grappler, and this is probably no exception, really. Jiu-Jitsu Pokemon, huh? I mean, the only thing that this is starting to lose points for, and I've got to deduct points for it, is the shape of its head and the fact it does Jiu-Jitsu. Now all I can see in my head is Andrew fucking Tate. So it has to be, it would have gone into there, but it has to get demoted into pretty good because of the fact its head shape reminds me of Andrew Tate. And that's unfortunate, but, well, that's just the way it is, I'm afraid. Okay. The teacups, yeah, we've seen them. The hat Pokemon, yeah, we've seen them. The furry bait imps, we've seen them. There's something there that I don't recognise. What's that? Ah, okay. Oh, I see. So this is like a regional form evolution. Well, you know, we're gonna have to assess it here anyway. But Obstagoon. Now, okay, so he was that guy who got arrested in Romania for the pizza box, and he is generally a very bad person. I don't really want to talk about him too much on stream because he's not the sort of person I want any sort of association with. I certainly wouldn't want someone to click into my stream and think, oh, this guy's talking about that guy, you must like him. It's like, no, I fucking do not. Anyway, we move onwards. I mean, we'll do the regional forms next, but Obstagoon, I quite like this, actually. I mean, it's obviously meant to be just your bog standard, yeah, like a Kiss-style musician punk type job. And I mean, I like it from an aesthetic standpoint. It looks like a badger that's gone punk rock. So I think that goes pretty good, actually. I like it. I think that the fact it evolves from a regional form as well, I kind of like that. It gives it a bit more flavour to me. We move on. So, Berserker, technically not in the Pokedex for Gen 9. We've seen him there. Cursola is the... it's an evolution of a regional form again. So, again, evolutions of regional forms we're not going to be assessing in this tier list. They're going to come into the next one. So, I mean, the fact it's a dead coral, I dig the idea. I don't like the execution so much, but I think the idea is solid, and like, it sets out what it wants to do. I just feel like it could have done something else, and the face is kind of stupid. So, next is the boy himself, Sirfetch'd. And I would probably have more love for Sirfetch'd if I hadn't just realised that his face looks like a smug Peter Griffin saying, Roadhouse. It's alright. You know, it's not bad by any shout, but it's certainly middling to me, if we're honest. We'll move on to what's this? Mr. Rhyme. Oh, good grief! What this? Fucking god. Next, next is Rune Regus. Okay. Oh, I see. So. It's a variant of Cophagregus. Okay, I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Cophagregus was, let's be honest. I'm not even sure what this thing's supposed to be. Like, is it a gravestone? Is it a burial shroud? I can't see what it's supposed to be. It's just kind of middling for me, if I'm honest. It's like, it's actually on the bad side of kind of, I think. We move on again. Next is oh no. It's Mayo. No, that Pokemon is cum. Let's be honest, that Pokemon is fucking cum. Good God. Anyway, moving onwards. Alcremie. They're just making meringues into Pokemon at this point. And no. I'm sorry, but no. It just looks terrible. So I'm going to have to just pull some stuff around. Is that the next one? I see. The next one's like a... Yeah, it's a... big version. Okay, we'll move over to the next one. Okay, there's a bunch of them which have been into Gen 9, so let's just move a few of these about a second. So, Phalanx, or Phalanx, depending on how you pronounce Phalanx or Phalanx, goes into there. Pincurchin is, if you're brave enough, okay. Snom and Frostmouth and Stonjourner. Yeah, I've seen Stonjourner. The next one is in Gen 9, but I've not seen it, so it actually qualifies for an assessment. So, Ice Cube, okay? No, you can't tell me that that's cream, that's cum. Wait, hang on. Ice Face, Noise Face. Nice. Oh, no. Okay. I mean, it's a penguin with an ice cube for a head. And then its naked face is still terrible. I mean, this is rubbish. This is literally Pingu with a square ice cube for a face. No. Be gone. Bedevil me no more. Okay. After that, we have... I feel like I might have seen this one. Indeedee. Yeah, I've seen Indeedee. We don't rate Indeedee. Okay. The other... Oh, it's got the gendered forms, hasn't it? So I don't really care for either of those, but... okay. Morpeko. Okay, it's another electric rodent, and I've already said that I dislike those, so, you know. No surprises there. No surprises there. After that is... Oh, hang on. Oh, I see. So it's got two modes, has it? Well, hang on. Full belly mode, where it's happy, and then hangry mode, where... Okay. Okay, that's... Yeah, I can kind of sympathise with that, actually. So, you know what? I still think that's kind of bad, but... Like, it actually rates above the base form. So, I'll give it that one. I'll give it that one. Okay. Oh, the next few we've seen before, so hang on. Qfunt and Copper Arjar, they've been into... which one was Togedemaru? I don't remember the name so good. I'm just moving a few of the big forms around. It looks like we're onto the fossils next. Which one was Togedemaru? Hold on. I don't know. I don't remember if we got that far yet. Or was that one of the ones in the last generation? I would have to check. Oh, into awful, because I hate the electric rodents. I think they're all just lazy and shit. Okay. Dracozolt. Okay. I mean, the fossils from Gen 8 all look... Because you can mix them together, as I understand it, they all look pretty, like, grim, from my understanding. So, this one especially, it looks like a baby dinosaur is wearing his dad's trousers. And he's like, oh, look at me, Mom! I'm Daddy! Get in the bin. Next is... Arctozolt. And again... I see what they're doing in terms of, hey, let's mix some stuff together, but it just looks shit. It just looks shit. I don't like that at all. We move on. Yeah, again, I mean, I can kind of see there being some appeal in this one. It's not as bad as the other ones by quite a long shot, but that's not really saying very much. Dracovish goes in there. We then see Arctovish, and Arctovish actually looks more like it's actually a living creature, except for the fact its head's on upside down, which makes no sense. What does that mean? You're a nut. You're crazy in the coconut. What does that mean? Anyway, let's... I'm just going to shove that into awful, because I don't like any of these ones at all. We move on quite quickly to Duraldon, Steel Dragon. Okay. Now, I tell you what this looks like to me. Duraldon looks like the Monarch Dodora from Starwing, but with one head. And also a pair of arms. It looks kind of cool, actually. Like, I don't really dig this. Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, it's not great. It's not great by any sense of the imagination, but it's also not terrible. So I think it's going to go into kind of bad, to be honest. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's probably a 3.6 on the Pokemon scale. It's the Chernobyl of generation number 8, I think. We go on. Okay, so the next ones were in generation 9, but I've not seen them yet, so I can assess these. So Dreepy, Dragon Ghost. I mean, Dreepy looks kind of derpy, if I'm honest. It's the eyes are a bit too wide. The posture is kind of weird. I don't like this, really, if I'm honest. I don't. It's not awful, but it doesn't warrant being anywhere above kind of bad. I'm sorry, but it just drippy. Okay, then Dracloak, and it just looks like Dreepy has gotten his big brother to come and sort out the bullies, and his big brother looks like Sid from Monsters Inc. Just with it's Sid from Monsters Inc. But he's just kind of he's gotten a bit too heavy on the Doritos. So I don't particularly dig that. In fact, I don't really like that at all. This generation has not impressed me with anything so far. And we're starting to actually run out of Pokemon to assess at this point. But I think we've got a few more Pokemon to assess, and then... no, Monsters Inc. Was his name Randall? Did I call him Sid? Did I call him Sid from Monsters Inc? Yeah, I meant Randall. Oh, dear. That's unfortunate for me. Okay, well, I mean, yes, the purple lizard guy. That's Randall, isn't it? You're right. You're right. I've dropped a big bollock there. Okay, and then after that, what's this? Dragapult. It's a smug missile launcher. It's a stealth bomber. That's fucking good. I like that. Actually, that's really cool. We finally got one, boys. Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't realize it had missile launchers that shot its fucking babies at its enemies. That's amazing. Look at that smile as well. Oh, that's fantastic. I like that. Okay. Next. What's this? Zacian. Okay. You know, because he's Alsatian. Do you see what I did there? So it's got a couple of different forms then. All right. So the base form... The base form is kind of lame. The form with the sword, it's all right. So the base form is kind of bad. The sword form is kind of mid. Like, I get it's... yeah. I can't take any credit for saying this, Hart, but Andy's brother-in-law names them Sith and Defensive. And I think that's fucking excellent. I wish I'd come up with that, because it's fucking excellent. But I didn't, so I can claim no credit there. Alas, and verily alack. We move on to Zamazenta, or Defensive, as we're going to call him now. That's his name. That's his canon name going forwards. And again, I mean, the base form's kind of lame. The armored form is all right. There's not enough here to really particularly interest me or excite me in any way, shape, or form. I think at this point, I think there might be some... There's a legendary there. So what's this? Eternatus. Okay, I mean... It's big. I can say that much. I mean, it's big. Okay. I mean, I like the concept of what looks like a giant evil skeleton dragon from space. I think that it's just not quite there for me. It's just not quite there. The colours are right, but the design is too jagged for what it's trying to do. Like, I would have expected for a poison type for it to look maybe a little bit more like, what's his face from the Rotten Vale? The Elder Dragon who's just covered in rotten corpses. That's what I think that should be looking more like. It's alright. But it just doesn't quite do it for me, I'm afraid. Right, who's next? Valhazak, that's the badger. Well, actually, Obstagoon's the badger, but you know what I mean. Okay, so Cub Fu. Oh, good grief. Okay. I think we've gone through most of these guys now. I mean, Cub Fu is terrible. That's incredibly lazy. It's like a ramen chef, but it's a bear. And that's it. It's a bear that serves ramen. Irashamas, no thank you very much, sir. No thank you. And it has then got some evolutions, which are... What's this? Oh, I see. Okay, so it's got different... I see. Interesting. So Urshifu's form is decided upon evolution based upon the completion of specific towers in the Isle of Armor. Interesting. So in that case, we've got a couple of Gmax forms to look at some point. I'm just having a quick look here. Okay. So actually, I think Urshifu looks pretty cool. Like, the fact that it is now... It actually now looks like a proper sort of martial artist. And not just a ramen chef trying to be tough. I actually kind of think that's pretty good, to be fair. I like that. It's Ryu. It's Ryu, but Ryu learned Kung Fu. That's what we're looking at there. It's Ryu. Okay. Who's next? Next Pokemon is... okay. For copyright reasons, we have to say that this Pokemon definitely did not write the song Sandstorm by Darude, because this is Zarude, okay? 2 forms. It's a rogue monkey, okay. So alternate forms. Oh, I see. So physical appearance of wearing a cape with the number 251 on it. I have no idea what relevance that has to anything. I mean, I don't really particularly. Oh, I didn't rate the other form of the bear, but I think both of them look pretty cool. So they're both going to go into pretty good. Zarude, I don't like. I think it just looks like it just looks like a monkey. You know, it doesn't do anything at all for me, if I'm completely honest. And I feel like I have to be here. We move onwards. What's this? Okay. So, Regieleki, which is a Reggie, but with twin tails. Now, this is probably going to strike you as being a bit of a weird criteria, but I actually like this. I'll tell you why. It's because the hairstyle reminds me of Ica from Skies of Arcadia, and that automatically puts it in my good books. I'm a simple man with simple tastes. I see Ica, I like. If I could have bought the Ica figurine, I would have dropped the 200 quid on it in a fucking heartbeat. I mean, I can't justify that much on a figurine, but my God, if I ever find that thing secondhand, I'm buying it. Like, the fact that they made a statuette of Ica is astonishing to me. Well, actually, they've done Vice, they've done Ica, they haven't done Fina yet. She's the only one of the main three from Skies of Arcadia who does not have a figurine. If they get all three of those, then I'm gonna have to remortgage my house, and that's the way it is. And I don't think my wife's outside the door. No, we're safe. I got away with saying it. It's all good. It's all good. Anywho, we move on to who's this? Reggie Drago. Okay. Now this one is kind of lame because it just looks like a shattered dragon statue with a sentient berry that's wearing it. And I think that's actually kind of lame. Like, I can't be kind about it. It's just not an interesting design. It's just like, oh, I don't see Charge Blade in there. I don't see Charge Blade in there. Okay, what's this? Glastria. Okay, so it's an icy Mudsdale. Okay. I don't like it. A giant Charizard skull. I mean, it's still a berry wearing a Charizard skull. And I still think that's kind of lame, if I'm honest. I still think that's kind of lame. Spectria. Okay. So it's got dismembered hooves for some weird reason. Hang on. Is this Griffith? Oh, no. Fuck you, Griffith. Oh. Okay, we move on. So what have we got here? We've got Calyrex, okay. Oh, I see. So it's a rider that goes with the horses. I mean, this thing looks hilariously stupid. This is one of the worst looking Pokemon I think I've ever seen. Just the base form looks really stupid. Riding the ice horse looks really stupid. Riding the shadow horse, it looks like Farquaad. It looks like fucking Farquaad. No, be gone. Darken never my doorstep again. I think the next ones we've got are I think these are from Legends Arceus, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, so I don't remember this one. I don't think I ever saw Overquill for some weird reason. I mean, this I like the look of this one actually. Just for the fact it's spiky, it's angry, there's purple. I mean, it's still not great, but I think that's pretty good. I like Overquill, I'll be honest. So we'll put that there. And the next, I've never seen those genies as before, is who thought this was a good idea? Whoever thought this was a good idea? This looks like a shriveled up nightclub attending half Stella lady, the sort that I used to serve when I worked in nightclubs, where they'd come in, they'd ask for half a pint of Stella, and then they would start grinding their crotch on your bar equipment. And no, this is one of the worst looking Pokemon I've seen in a very long ass time. Goodbye. And then it has a Therian form, okay. Which is somehow... It's somehow a turtle, which is giving the Attack on Titan, Cart Titan, blowjob face. No. If I could rate this any lower than awful, I fucking would. I absolutely would. So, looking at that, we've actually covered all of Gen 9. Oh, Gen 8, sorry. So, there's your list. We can actually fit it onto one screen this time. So, only one in the best. Nothing suspiciously sexy this time. Quite a lot which are awful. Like, this is quite a weak generation overall. So, let me just kill that a second, just so I can get a quick snip of this, so we can send it to El Sobble. Yeah, we'll send this on to Sobble. He'll like it. It'll be da jobbo. So, once we've sent that on to El Sobble, we will have a look at the beef forms, I think, then. So, bear with me. Blong. Okay. I'm pretty sure that I got a... oh, we're looking at regional forms as well, actually, aren't we? So, let's see. What do we got? We have... yeah. Regional forms... Mega Evolutions, and Gigantamax forms. Okay. Now, with these, I'm going to have to do it a little bit differently, just because I'm going to have to pull up a list of these, and then we can see. Forms, Mega Evolutions, Gigantamax. Okay. I'm just trying to pull something up a minute just so I can see if I can get this going. Right, I tell you what, let's have a look at the regional forms first. I'm pretty sure this list kind of goes through regional forms and then it ends at Gigantamax and Mega Ever. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, Pokemon regional forms. Okay. Right, let's have a look at these then. And let me just pull up that again. Oh! Is it back? Yes, it's back. Okay, good, good. Right. Pull that down there a bit. Okay. So, going to start looking at the regional forms now, huh? So, right, I've got a handy list of all of these, and it looks like they're mostly in order as well. Okay, so, Alolan, Rattata, and Raticate. I mean, the Raticate looks awful. The Raticate looks awful. It just looks like a hamster with really puffed out cheeks. And I don't like it particularly. In fact, I don't like that at all. I think that's awful straight away. The Rattata is a little bit better because it's got the 1950s villain mustache, but it's still like kind of mid. I think I agree there. It's kind of mid. The Alolan Raichu, I see what they're doing, making it into like a surfer, but at the same time, it's it's even more rounded than the original one. I feel like they've kind of gone a bit too far into making it look all, cuddly and no, it's kind of bad. I don't know. I disagree. I like the regular Raichu better. I think the regular Raichu looks a lot better. Alolan Sandshrew, it's a walking igloo. It's alright. Doesn't really strike me as being particularly great. Kind of mid. Alolan Sandslash, though. I like the design of this. Like, I think it looks like something out of the Secret of Mana series. I kind of dig it, if I'm honest. I kind of dig it. I think that's actually pretty good. So, After that, you have... I'm pretty sure that the Vulpix and Ninetales were in Legends Arceus, so we can't fairly assess them now, can we? Alolan Diglett, well, it's just Diglett but with Homer Simpson's hairstyle, so you know, it just kind of is. Alolan Dugtrio, I don't know why it's got all that hair. I tell you who they remind me of, actually. Those Dugtrio. They remind me of the Luane brothers from Granblue. I think for that, I mean, they're still kind of mid, but it's a high mid. It's like bordering on being pretty good. So we'll drop down there. After that, we move on to... What have we got here? Alolan Meowth. Okay. It's an evil Meowth, trying to strike a bit of a sexy pose. That's alright, I guess. You know, it's kind of mid. Doesn't really do much for me. Berserker, we've already commented on. Alolan Persian looks awful. It looks like someone thought, you know what Persian needs? It needs Stewie Griffin's face. No. Hisuian Growlithe, we've seen before. Okay, so Geodude then. Okay. This is going to be probably a little bit more interesting. It got stung by a bee. Okay, yeah, I can't argue with that really, can I? Oh, have I frozen? Nope. Oop. I've got the frame rate going on. So, the Geodude, I don't really think this looks particularly great, to be honest. I think it is what it is, but it's not great. So I feel like that's going to... Actually, no, I think that's kind of bad, actually. It's literally just a grey Geodude with big eyebrows and some slightly spiky hair. The Graveler... Well, the Graveler looks like Bruno from Gen 1 with his massive, great big puffy sideburns. And I mean, I kind of dig it. It's better. Kind of mid. And then Golem. Golem looks, again, almost like a railgun. It looks like, I mean, I don't know if I'm right with this, but it looks like it's going to electrify those points up the middle there and fire that boulder out. Heck, it has got a railgun. Right, straight up there you go. Easy peasy. That was a very easy thing to decide on. I mean, I dislike what people have done with railguns in modern games where, oh, it's a charge weapon. You have to charge it up and then keep it centered on something. To me, a railgun is literally you point at it and it goes through shit. Quake 2 style. That's how you do it. But I like I understand the concept, oh, you got to charge up the coils, but, you know, I don't remember how the one that... Ian McCollum actually fired a coil gun on Forgotten Weapons. There is a video of him shooting an experimental coil gun, and it's pretty interesting. He goes through the engineering of it as well. So, I didn't like Halo's railgun. Did not like it, just because it's one of those gimpy charge railguns. A railgun to me should be like it is in Quake 2, where you point at it and it goes through stuff, and it just, you know, gives everything in a line. That's the good shit. We move on. Alolan Grimer. Oh, hang on, wait. There's you know what? Some of these are out of order a little bit, but Alolan Grimer looks awful. It looks like it's been eating something it maybe shouldn't have done. And I think the same goes with Alolan Muck, to be honest. I don't like the look of this one, but it just looks stupid. It just looks stupid. And again, Alolan Exeggutor. It's Exeggutor, but it's got a long neck and it's dragon. Ha 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 ha. Oh, goodbye. And then the Alolan Marowak, better. Fire Ghost. It's got the flaming poi. So yeah, I mean that's pretty good actually. I like that. I like that one. Yeah, it's just not the not the Doom that I would like. Put it that way, Andrew. Okay. Oh, hang on. So I see that. Yeah, so we've seen that one. So that's not Berserker. That's the Meowth. which becomes Berserker. We've seen it, so yeah, get a shot of that. So, Galarian Ponyta and Galarian Rapidash. I mean, they just look like My Little Pony, and at the risk of alienating a potential audience, I think they're both kind of bad. I don't like those. I don't like those at all. We move on. Galarian Farfetch'd. I mean, Surfetch'd was alright, but I don't really dig. I don't really dig what I'm seeing with the Galarian Farfetch'd, to be honest. You know, Surfetch'd was better by a long shot. Galarian Weezing. I mean, at this point, they're just stereotyping British people as being posh factory owners with tall hats, and I never really cared about Weezing too much, but oh no! No! Why have you said that? Oh no! For that, just for the fact that Doug Dimmadome has been mentioned, you've made me realise it's Doug Dimmadome. It's Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, and he's going to dimmadab on me if I don't dimmer place him right up here. He's actually been elevated from being kind of bad into kind of mid. You've elevated him a tier by making me realise he's Doug Dimmadome. Oh god. Galarian Mr. Mime. Well, I think it's safe to say terrible, because Mr. Mime has also always been fucking terrible. Galarian Corsola, I mean, again, I like the fact that Cursola was dead coral, and that I guess Corsola is just kind of dying coral. It's still not great. In fact, it's still kind of bad, to be fair. Still kind of bad. We've then got Alolan, Zigzagoon and Linoon, and I mean, I don't like them as much as Obstagoon. I think that they're not bad though. I mean, they're both kind of mid. You know, they're not. Neither of them are bad, but it's just Obstagoon is just better. Obstagoon is just better. What next do we have? I think we looked at Darumaka before, but the again, I mean the evolution of that as well. So going into Darmanitan in, you know, the various modes, it's still pretty terrible, let's be fair. And then Rune Regus, we've already reviewed Rune Regus. We don't look at them again. But there's, for some reason, the pre-evolution. Oh wait, no, there is. Yeah, so the Yamask version. I mean, it's all right. I like purple more than I like red, but you know, it's still kind of mid. What next do we come to? Stunfisk, Ground Steel. Okay, I mean, it's still just a Stunfisk, isn't it? Except it looks like a bear trap, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. Not really interesting enough for me to put it anywhere higher than that. What next do we get? Okay. Galarian, Slowpoke, and Slowbro. So, I mean, it's just a Slowbro with a yellow head. It's Homer Simpson, but as a Pokemon. And I think that's one of the laziest regional forms I've seen in a long time. The fact that the Slowbro is wearing the the Shelder on his hand. I mean, I appreciate he's got the purple head. I think the stance looks. Yes, there is a Slowking here, but he's just not. We haven't quite got to it yet for some reason. So we're gonna. In fact, I think it's because in terms of where they appear on the national decks, like because Slowbro is an original 150 and Slowking is a later one. It's gonna come a bit later on. So I'm reading off of the list from Bulbapedia now. So we kind of work our way down. It's out of order compared to what you can see along the bottom here. So I'm going to be kind of jumping around a little bit in that regard. I kind of like this. I think that's pretty cool. I like the fact that they've made Slowking and Slowbro into something where it's a bit more interesting. We move down again. Okay. So, Galarian Articuno. I like the purple. I don't know if I like the execution. I think it's too flowy. Like I don't know. There's something missing that just doesn't sit right with me. It's not bad, but it's mid. Galarian Zapdos. It just looks like a one-headed Dodrio. No, it's a one-headed Dodrio. Galarian Moltres, on the other hand, now that's an upgrade. That looks like a legendary threat. That looks cool. The fact that it's got the fact that it is burning like that, I like that. I actually think that can go up there with Golem in that category. And when we get to Galarian Slowking, I mean, I don't know if I like it quite as much as the Slowbro, but I still like the fact that it looks like it's wearing the mask. It looks kind of ominous. I think it at least deserves to go next to its pre-Evo. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Okay, so somewhere in here is somewhere in this list there is a Hisuian Arcanine. And I don't know exactly where he's gone. I will say, I didn't like that boss in the slightest in PLA. I thought that arena was some bullshit, but I can't see it on this list here. So we've already covered Surfetched and Mr. Rhyme and Cursola. We've seen Hisuian Braviary. We've seen Obstagoon. We've seen you. Right, any other... I don't think this regional chart covers stuff up to and including. Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, to be honest, we've already covered all the regional forms from PLA anyway, so we don't need to worry really about them. Paldean forms, we don't worry about those. Right, okay, so it looks like we're on to Mega Evolutions now, then, huh? Okay. Well, let's get those loaded up. Scroll up again a little bit. Pokemon Mega Evolution. Okay. Right, well let's have a look at these. So what have we got here? Pokemon capable of Mega Evolution. Okay, Venus. Wait, are these Mega Evolutions or are these Gigantamax? I'm not 100%. I think these might be Gigantamax. Hold on. I'm not matching it to the... These are all Gigantamax, so where have the Mega Evolutions gone? Well. Oh, wait, no, I see it. They're a bit further on down. Okay, that's fine. As long as I can see them, it's all good. So Venusaur's Mega Evolution is just... It's more Venusaur. You know, it's more Venusaur. I mean, it's not bad as such. It's just kind of... There's more flowers on its face. I feel like that's kind of mid, to be honest. I don't really dig that a huge amount. Okay, so you got two different versions of Charizard. Okay. Now, Mega Charizard Y, again, it's more of the Pokemon, like you say. It's, you know, it's all right, but I feel like it should be more than I'm getting here. Whereas Mega Charizard X, now I like the color scheme of that a lot more. Blue flames, you know, blue flames on a black dragon. That does it for me. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. Blastoise's Mega Evolution, I actually think this looks really goofy. Just for the fact the cannon is way too oversized. I mean, the fact it had cannons coming out of the shell in the first place was always a bit dumb. But the fact it's got like the two small cannons and then the one massive cannon. The massive cannon's too big. I don't like this. I feel like this is bad, to be fair. I feel like that's kind of bad. Mega Alakazam, well, He's got more spoons, got more facial hair. Looks kind of like a Dalsim reference from Street Fighter. I mean, it's alright. Still kind of mid. Doesn't really do it for me. Mega Gengar. I'm not quite sure why Gengar's become a quadruped all of a sudden, but it certainly seems to be walking around on all fours. I mean, I like the fact that it's got the third eye open, but I feel like it's lost something here. And oh no. Mega Kangaskhan. The kid's finally out of the pouch. This is a cool idea. This is actually a cool idea. The fact that the kid has just come out of the pouch and it's like, yeah, we're now a tag team. I dig that. You know, it's like they're the Ginyu Force, and they rule. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Mega Pinsir. I mean, I always liked Pinsir. Pinsir was one of my favourite Gen 1 Pokemon, even if it was just kind of not one that I really ever used. It's become almost like a Super Sentai protagonist here again. Let's have a quick look. I mean, that actually, I like the look of Mega Pinsir a lot. That's cool. Yeah, I dig this. I think that can actually go up there. Just like, that's really kind of sweet. And then you come to Mega Gyarados, and it kind of falls apart again. Yeah, it's not great. It's just a letdown after that one we were just at. And I think the same goes with Mega Aerodactyl. I mean, it's just, they've added loads of spikes to him, and he's now got a goatee, and he kind of almost looks like he wants to be Ridley from Metroid, but it's like Ridley from Metroid crossed over with the chin from Jimmy Neutron's dad. I don't like it. I don't like it. The Mega Evolutions of Mewtwo X and Y, I mean, neither of these look particularly good. They're both kind of bad. I don't like to say that, but they both just look kind of just bad. Mega Ampharos. My god, look at that hair. Amphi was one of my absolute mainstays in Gen 2. Before I started using Magneton more often, absolute mainstay in Gen 2. And I kind of like the fact that they've given him this majestic, heroic hair. Amphabious. Fucking yes. Not the best, but deservedly goes in there. And again, it's a borderline. I only have to put him into pretty good because if it's borderline, they go downwards. They have to round downwards. They can't round upwards because, you know, for something to go into the best, it has to be like it's going straight in there. There's no question. So because there's a question, I don't like it, but sorry, you got to go in there, my boy. Mega Caesar, okay, or Scizor, however the fuck you want to say it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. I feel like it's too close to what they were doing with Bishop, and for that reason alone, it's pretty good. It's not quite borderline. It's close to the bottom and pretty good, but it's not low enough to actually round downwards. Mega Heracross. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think it's pretty bad, to be honest. Mega Houndoom is next, okay. And Mega Houndoom looking, I mean, again, I don't like what they've done with it. I just think they've just taken a Pokemon that already looked great and just like let's just make him really bony. Let's add loads of bones everywhere because that's what kids want these days. They just want bones for fucking days. I can't even see him on this. Oh wait, there he is. I dislike it because Houndoom again was a Gen 2 mainstay for me, but in there you go. Mega Tyranitar, okay. I'm finding out all these Mega Evolutions. I mean, it's Tyranitar, but extra, basically, isn't it? It's just extra Tyranitar. So I think for that, you know, it's mid. It's alright. Doesn't really tickle me. Mega Blaziken, okay. Mega KFP, I guess. I mean, I don't dislike it. I think it's alright. The fact that it's just like, it's just Blaziken but extra. That's never exactly a bad thing, but I think it's still not really on the high side of mid for me. What next? What next? Now I can't see the other starters evolutions on this list I've got in front of me, but they're obviously there. So, I mean, did they come in later? Ah, yeah, they came in later, so we'll come to them in a minute because they weren't introduced just yet. Okay, so Mega Gardevoir, I think, is the first point that we actually realised that Gardevoir actually had legs, and I mean, I prefer the base version. Like, the fact that this one is just white on the inside of the dress as well as outside. There's not enough colour. That's actually kind of disappointing. I think it's... If it had the green on the inside, it probably elevates pretty good. But I'm sad to say that because Guardy's one of my favourites. Always has been. Mega Morile. Okay. Now, this I think is how you do a Mega Evolution. That looks sinister as fuck. That looks actually sinister as hell. I like this a lot. Like, I like this a hell of a lot. You're going to go in there, I think, my dear. Mega Aggron. Okay. I'm learning about all these for the first time today, man. I dig this a lot. That's really cool. Aggron was a Pokemon I had a bit of a funny relationship in Gen 3, so I had one for a while, but the fact that it was so slow meant I generally didn't get much mileage out of it, so just kept on getting smacked by everything, and I mean, for some reason, I don't know if it's because I was under-leveled, but it never really seemed to live for as long as I needed it to. In terms of pure appearance, I think it's really fucking cool. It looks like a Shogun. Spiky Shogun, and I dig that. Oh dear. Mega Medicham looks fucking terrible. Let's say no more. Mega Manectric. No, it looks awful. It's just like, oh, let's just take the design. Let's just squiggle on it. That'll be fun. Mega Bayonet. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really do all that much for me, but oh, where have they gone? There. It's kind of bad. Well, it's more mid than it is bad, I think. Mega Absol looks again like an edgy goth teen, but let's. Yeah, I mean, it's they've taken Absol and they've made Absol into slightly more furry bait than it was before. So I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that. The Mega Speed Dagrons. Latias, I don't like the look of from what I'm seeing here. Mega Latios looks better. I never actually caught these in Gen 3. They always ran away every single time I got anywhere close to them. I know that was the whole point of, like, speedy Pokemon, but it was a real annoyance to try and track them down. Assholes. Mega Garchomp. This will be interesting. So, I want to like it. But Mega Garchomp, you're making this incredibly difficult for me. It looks like a really gimpy JoJo villain. And I hate to do this because Garchomp is genuinely a Pokemon that I always pick if I can get access to it. It's just 'cause I love the design. I think the Mega is kind of bad. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Mega Lucario. Mid. Doesn't jump out at me in any real way, shape, or form. Mega Abomasnow. I never liked Abomasnow for the stupid name. The Mega Evolution makes it at least look a little bit like something I should be afraid of, but I mean, it just looks like a snowy hedgehog. You know, there's not anything interesting going on with it at all. We move onwards. So we're on to introduced in a Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Okay. Mega Beedrill. Actually, I like this. It's like they took Beedrill and it's like, you know what Beedrill needs? You know what Beedrill needs? It needs to have like twice as many stingers. And I mean, bees are terrifying for me. Like, I actually hate bees, but I'm quite happy to say that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. Mega Pidgeot. I mean, it's boring. Yeah, it's Mega Pidgeot. Just no, that's bad. Really, it's boring. Mega Slowbro. Slowbro's gone inside. Somehow the Shelder has magically become big enough to actually consume the entire Slowbro, and I don't like it. It just looks silly. It looks like a stupid ice cream cone. Excuse me. Mega Steelix looks kind of interesting. Now, I like the fact that it's got crystal sort of formations coming out of it. I like the fact that the head is now a bit more shovelish. I think it's not quite there. I like it, but I don't like it, if that makes sense. You know, it's about, it would be about there. It rounds down into kind of mid. It's almost good. It's almost good. It's just not quite there. Mega Sceptile. What's Mega Sceptile got for me? Let's see. I mean, so Mega Sceptile, to me, looks like the logical combination of a Christmas tree and a Glavenus. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It's the logical combination of a Christmas tree and a Glavenus. It's okay. The fact it's reminding me of Glavenus is a plus, because Glavenus is my favourite monster in Monster Hunter. I think it at least goes into kind of mid. Again, it's about there. It's a rocket, so it's shooting it out the tower and slamming it around. Mega Swampert. Oh. Look how they massacred my boy. I don't like it. They just made Swampert into the Juggernaut. Mega Sableye. I mean, Sableye just managed to get a big gem, and that's it. So, you know, it's nothing exciting. It's pretty mid. Mega Sharpedo looks awful. Like, they just thought, you know what will make this Pokemon much cooler? Sticking more spikes in it, adding some Go Faster stripes, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Mega Camerupt looks like it's wearing, like, not only is the facial expression hilarious, but the fact it looks like a walking carpet with a volcano sticking out its back. It's one of the worst ones I've seen so far. I have absolutely no regrets about relegating him into the awful tier. Mega Altaria, I mean, it's, again, pretty boring, if I'm honest. You know, there's nothing exciting about it. Mega Glalie, well, Glalie's grown a big fucking beard. It looks like me when something is not quite going right in my life, or is actually no. Mega Glalie looks like me when I'm looking at stuff coming into my work task list. Beyond that, it doesn't excite me. Purely an observation. Mega Salamence. Oh, look, it's Roaring Moon. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, I guess. It looks like a Frisbee. Mid. Yeah. Mega Metagross. I mean, it's floating. It's got a drill chin now. It's alright. I prefer the base version, if I'm honest. I prefer the base version. Okay, Mega Ray Quesadilla. Okay. I think I'm going to actually have to open up the 8 legs. Oh my god. See, Mega the Mega Ray is okay. I think they made him a bit too extra. You know, he was good the way he was before. Now he's got nacho cheese sauce sort of flying off of his whiskers, and it just kind of, yeah, I see what they're going for, but I don't quite dig it. Mega Lopunny, okay. Whoa, Lopunny, and I mean, they're definitely baiting furries with this. I'm sorry, sir, but that's not for me. Mega Gallade. I didn't know that Gallade had a Mega Evolution. I don't really like Gallade anyway, to be fair, but... yeah, I mean, you can't take a Mega Evolution, slap it on something which is mid to begin with, and expect it to be much better. Let's be fair. Mega Ordino. I don't know why the fuck Ordino would get a Mega Evolution, but it looks stupid. Goodbye. Mega Diancie. Let's have a look at this. I mean, it's better than the base form. I say that you can't slap a Mega Evolution on something mid and expect it to get better, but actually, I think they managed. They managed to make something that would have been in kind of bad okay. Fair enough. That is all of the Mega Evolutions. Oh, hang on. We haven't put those kids away. Let's just make sure there's no other regional forms that we need to pop away. I don't think there are. No, we're good. Right. We just got to wrap up the Gigantamax forms then. And that will conclude all of the gens. So, Pokemon Gigantamax. Or Gigantamax. No, it's Gigant... Yes, it's Gigantamax. Okay, I was misspelling it before, apparently. Not ideal, but there we go. Okay, so first off, Gigantamax Charizard. I mean, I'll go through the size difference as well. Okay. I don't know what the fuck Eternamax is, but Gigantamax Charizard looks like he's become so angry he's just turning into pure fire. And you go from 1.7 meters tall to 28 meters tall, which is ludicrous. For size scale is, just so you know, a Tyrannosaurus Rex would have stood somewhere in the region of 4.5 to 5 meters tall at the shoulder, I believe. So this is going with 28 meters tall. That's the size of nearly 6 T-Rexes stacked on top of each other. Pretty big. I think this is all right. I don't think it warrants going into pretty good. I like the fact they've made him a bit more angorous and relevant. Gigantamax Venusaur, that's going to be, I believe. Oh, hang on, no, there's a bunch more of them which are... In fact, I'm just going to go through them in order as they appear in this list here. So what's that? Butterfree. What's Butterfree doing these days? What's Butterfree doing these days? I mean, Gigantamax Butterfree, big wings, tiny body, goes from being 1.1 meters to 17 meters. It's all right, I guess. It's mid. Doesn't do anything for me, really. Gigantamax Pikachu looks fucking dumb. That looks dumb as fuck. Same goes with the Gigantamax Meowth. I mean, the fact you've got something going from 0.4 meters to 33 meters tall and just being a long fucking boy. What do we have here? Ah, I recognize this. This is Sarnacord Moderator, the Ectoplasm, when he was doing the Simpcast. I mean, for that alone, I'm going to put him in pretty good just because, you know, Ecto's my boy. Don't tell him I said that, he'll get full of himself. Gigantamax Gengar. It's just a giant mouth. I dislike this. I dislike it. Gigantamax Kingler. Oh, okay. Let's have a look at this in a bit more. I mean, I like the fact that it's become a spider crab. The claw is huge. But the beard looks dumb as hell. And I have to mark it down so much for that stupid looking beard. wish I didn't. Gigantamax Eevee looks kind of dumb, really. It's just a big Eevee with a thing around its ear. The Lapras. Okay, let's see. What do you got for me, Lapras? I mean, it's got music going around its shell, but beyond that, I don't know. It's just a very big Lapras with, you know, shadow effects. I think that's lazy. I think it's lazy. Gigantamax Snorlax goes from being 2.1 meters to 35 meters tall, which is a huge increase, and it literally just becomes the world torsus. And actually, I mean, I think the fact that Gigantamax Snorlax just lies down, goes to sleep, and grows an entire continent on his back, on his belly, I think that's actually pretty good. Like, that's actually a really cool concept. The fact that it's turning into a planet. Gigantamax Garbodor or Garbodor. I mean, you were never going to make this thing look any better. You were never going to make it look anything beyond shit. So, goodbye. Okay, Gigantamax Melmetal. See, now this looks like an angel. This actually looks like an angel. You know, scramble Unit 1 and get Iron Army to back him up. That's what this says to me. I kind of dig this. It's not good enough to go into good, but it definitely goes into mid, at least. I think. Okay. What next? So the G-Max Corviknight. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. I like the colour scheme. Quite a small increase. Goes from 2.2 meters to 14 meters. I still kind of dig this though. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I like Corvi anyway because he's a good boy, but he just ends up looking that little bit cooler there. G-Max Orbeetle. It's a UFO. That's pretty boring, to be honest. In fact, I think that's kind of bad actually. It just looks silly. It doesn't look interesting. G-Max Dreadnought. What's Dreadnought got? Where's his head? He's got no head. What? I'm sorry, that just looks incredibly dumb. Goodbye. What else have we got there? Colossal has a G-Max. Okay, let's see. I mean, I kind of think it looks alright. You would never see that. There's one reason that Colossal as a Pokemon makes no sense whatsoever, and that's the fact that Margaret Thatcher existed. There is no Cole. Good night. Yeah, he stood up. Flapple and Appleton both turn into a giant apple dragon, which looks like it's getting canchoed up the ass. So, I mean, for that alone, it's kind of bad. Let's be fair. GM Sandaconda. It looks like a giant angry tornado, that. Why has it got pig nostrils? Oh, I see, because the other one had the big nostrils. They've just gotten even bigger and kind of pigged out a bit. I mean, yeah, it's alright, I guess. Mid. There's nothing hugely exciting. G-Max Toxtricity. Let's see. I mean, that looks really silly. That looks really silly. I don't like it. What about Centiscorch? We like the last version of Centiscorch, and now see, that looks cool. That looks cool. The fact that it goes from being 3 meters long to 75 meters long. My goodness, I really like that. I really like that. G-Max Hatterene. it reminds me of Nine the Phantom a bit too much. I like the scornful look. I would quite like to be looked upon with such scorn. Like, I'm going to go and make some noise in a woodland to see if I survive, but I don't like the fact it reminds me of Nine the Phantom. That kind of reduces it. I mean, it's still pretty good. Still pretty good, let's be fair. G-Max Grimmsnarl looks like a Digimon. Yeah, I mean, this looks kind of like Devimon to me. Actually, I like this. I quite like this. I'm going to make noises in the wood. If I go down to the woods today, I'm going to fucking die. Anyway. G-Max Alcremie. It's a cake made of cum. Who signed off on this? Okay, we move on. G-Max Copperaja. Is that thing stood up on 2 legs, or is it just me? No, it's... Oh my god, what the... That looks really stupid. It's like, oh, they've just crossbred it with a Stonjourner. No. Sorry, but no. And then the G-Max Duraldon. It's a skyscraper. It's a building. It's literally a building. It's a building. Oh my... No. I'm sorry, but... I think that's kind of bad. The fact it went from being kind of cool to turning into a building. The thing is, you say it's a skyscraper, but it's only 43 meters tall, whereas, you know, you've got stuff in here which is like 75 meters, and that's much more skyscraper territory. We move on. G-Max Venusaur. Honestly, I don't like it, because it just looks like Venusaur wearing a really silly hat. Blastoise G-Max form. Let's see. Let's see. I like the fact it's got all the turrets, but a lot of those turrets can only point sideways, and some of them just point straight up, so it's not going to get any angle of inclination on those guns. So, you know, it can point them towards the enemy as much as it wants, but it's still poor in terms of design. You know, it's never going to get all those guns to train on the same target, and that's a flaw. That's a flaw. G-Max Cinderace. It's just Goku standing on top of a giant fireball. You know, I mean, I think Cinderace just looks stupid to begin with anyway, but that's kind of sealing the deal. G-Max Rillaboom? What we got with Rillaboom? He's on a drum kit. Right. That's pretty well decided. Straight in there. We don't need to say anything further about that, because drummers am da best. G-Max Inteleon. What do we got here? What do we got here? What? How does this make any sense? I don't understand what... It's. I mean, obviously it's become a very tall snake, but this doesn't make any sense. I don't like it when designs just don't make any sense. I really dislike that. Good day. And then you've got the last two on our list, which are the single strike and rapid strike styles of Shifu. So let's see. So the rapid strike style, I don't like the G-Max version of that, if I'm honest. I think that's kind of bad. But the single strike style, now that looks like Akuma doing his victory pose. It's not on the list. It's not on the list. When I saw the entry for it, it said it's only a form that appears during certain interactions or certain moves. So it wouldn't, if it's not, it doesn't seem like something I can add into the tier list. But let's have a look at it. I'll have a look at it, and then it's the Eternamax version of Eternatus. It's pretty bad. Like, it looks awful, if I'm honest. That it looks like someone tried to put the Ender Dragon into Pokemon. Yeah, and then they crossbred it with the Master Hand. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. But yeah, here we go. That is your... I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit so I can get the screenshot. But yeah, that's your tier list of Mega Evos and G-Max forms. And regional forms as well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I mean, we've covered everything off. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you know that my taste is incredibly based, so there's no disputing any of this whatsoever. But I'm sure that once I post all of my rankings in varied places, I'm sure I'm going to have lots of people getting very upset with me. So I'm going to go and do that now. I've been talking pretty much solely for 2.5 hours, so thank you for coming and watching me ramble on about Pokemon I've never seen before for as long as I have been. Tomorrow I'm going to be live with Monster Hunter Rise at some point in the afternoon, probably 6 o'clock-ish UK time again. See how we go with that. Might be a bit early, might be later. In the meantime, cheers for coming along. Try not to tell me off too much on Discord or elsewhere about my choices here. And in the meantime, I hope to see you next time. Take care. Which button is it? It's this button. I will remember exactly which button on my stream deck actually does things next time. But I gotta press this now. Goodbye.